You may have come for the spice, but you'll stay for the scores. What's inside the Mondo Dune original motion picture soundtrack? And a big thank you to the folks over at Mondo that took the time to provide various samples, in fact, of the new Dune soundtrack that we can have a look at on this channel. Some sadly have sold out, but I'll again provide links down below in the video description. If you guys are interested, big fan of the original Dune remake and now have seen the second Dune in theaters, would like to get your hands on soundtracks. Now, they have some available both in album format and in CD. They were actually kind enough to provide samples of all of these, and we're going to be looking at these individually. Again, some of them have sold out. I kind of do my best to kind of break down the pricing for all of these. I have already opened this up. I couldn't wait, unfortunately. I also just wanted to check the contents, make sure everything arrived safe and sound, so that when I was going to be doing the unboxing for you guys, I would also get the chance to be able to show you guys as they arrive. Obviously, like I said, we're going to be going through some of them are still available over on their sites. Some of them, again, have since sold out. The first thing that they were nice enough to send over, if you don't have yourself a record player, they provided at least the soundtrack on 3 CDs. Now, the CD itself, this is $25. All the things that, in fact, we're going to be looking at here have essentially all the same score tracks. They're just presented a little bit differently. The actual CD I have yet to open, but I will be opening it because I tend to like when I'm driving to work, because I have about 30 to 35 minutes to kill while I'm driving to work. I like to not listen to the radio because I can't keep up with whatever's current on music right now. But I like to listen to scores, soundtrack, motion picture scores specifically. Maybe not anything that really has like lyrics, for example, but just having the melody of something playing in the background while I'm driving off to work. Yes, definitely a big fan of that. Now, this is, again, a 3 CD set. It's, in fact, actually the only thing I haven't yet opened. I've already kind of looked at the albums just to make sure that they arrived safe and sound. We're going to kind of carefully opening up the packaging here and remove the package. And while I'm doing this as well, let me know down below in the comments section, do you guys collect albums? If you do, which ones do you have? Are you also a big fan of motion picture soundtracks? I'm a big fan, like, at least of the albums that I have, and I have a very modest collection of it. I like to collect a lot of motion picture soundtracks, and I also like to go back and collect some of the older albums, my all-time favorites. I have probably about maybe like 12 to 14 albums. But if you are collecting albums, let me know down below in the comment section how many you have, and really what is your preference of things you like to collect. Again, you've got the soundtrack in the deluxe edition 3 CD set. This is $25. Music, all by the way, is provided by Hans Zimmer. I'm going to carefully open this up. Again, this is the only one that I didn't get the chance to open. This artwork, by the way, featured on the inside is the same artwork, in fact, that's going to make appearances with all the other albums that we're going to be having a look at. These CDs seem to be contained, well, there's 3 of them, and they're all kind of contained inside the slip sleeves here, or little sleeve sides. The thing, unfortunately, about this is by having them on the sides, they're going to be a little harder to get. First, in the first booklet, you actually get yourself just, well, in the first sleeve, I should say, you get yourself a booklet that comes along with it. And then with all the various other sleeves, you're going to have then the CDs inside. Like I said, with the cardboard being the way it is, it just means that you're going to have to reach to the side and grab the CD and carefully removing it. There we go. I do wish in a way that they could have actually had the top of the CD be the place that you retrieve it rather than the side. Each one of the CDs, from what I can see at least, just going to put that down here for a second. Try my best not to get the fingerprints on the back here. But again, you've got Dune, the Dune sketchbook, music from the soundtrack. We've got disc 1, and of course you would also have disc 2, disc 3. Just going to slide that carefully inside. Really, again, ideal the fact that Mondo did provide this. Whoops, make sure we got facing the right way. The fact that Mondo did actually do these not only as albums, but the fact that they also did it as CDs. And just flip to the back. All of the tracks, by the way, will still be the ones that are also featured on the albums. Disc 1 is the Song of the Sisters, and then you've got See You in My Dreams, House Atreides, The Shortening of the Way. Disc 2 is Paul's Dream, Moon over Caladan, Shai Hulud, I think that's the way that you pronounce it, Mind Killer, and Grains of Sand. Disc 3 is kind of the meteor of all the CDs. You've got Dreams of Arrakis, you've got Herald of the Change, Ben Gesserit, you got Gam Jabbar, The One, Leaving Caladan, Arakeen, Ripples of the Sand, Visions of Chani, Night of the Arrakis, Armada, Burning Palms, Stranded, Blood for Blood, The Fall, Holy War, Sanctuary, Premonition, Ornithopter, Sandstorm, Still Suits, My Road Leads into the Desert. Soundtrack and album produced by, again, Hans Zimmer. Very familiar with Hans Zimmer's work. Executives in charge of music for Legendary Pictures are Peter Afterman and Alison Litton. Executive in charge of music for Warner Brothers Pictures, of course, is Paul Brockett. And executive in charge of Water Tower Music is Jason Lin. Again, really good the fact that they didn't release this on CD. I know not everybody's really collecting albums, so this also gives you a chance to get yourself get your hands on the soundtrack score for the film if you don't happen to have yourself, like I said, a record player. So that's the CD. Like I said, they did provide that one. That's $25 over on their site. I'm just actually kind of checking the site in between, or actually just before I started hitting record. Most everything that we're going to be looking at here is still in stock. The only exception to that is that the original motion picture soundtrack 2XLP SDCC edition, which is actually in the box, is the only thing that has sold out. I think everything else is still over on their site and in stock. They were also nice enough as well to provide the sketchbook music soundtrack. This is again a 3 LP set. It's going to have all the same scores and all the same tracks as the CD we've already had a look at. This now benefits from having some really nice exquisite artwork here on the front of the packaging here. And if you open this up, which I've already taken the liberty of opening, you can see as well that the artwork featured inside the album is in fact the same artwork that we already saw inside the CD. And just presented obviously in a little bit larger of a size. All of the albums, and I'll kind of pull some of these out just so you guys can actually see. Again, not the easiest thing to really do on camera, but we're going to pull this out. All of these, by the way, appear to be the black vinyl. Some of the ones that we will be looking at with the other releases have the vinyl printed in a different color. If you are familiar with, of course, you want to make sure you get keep your fingerprints off of an album. But again, you've got side B on one side, and then on the other side, you've got yourself side A with all the tracks, again, we've already had a look at. So there's that one. And we'll just slide that carefully back in place. Again, not the easiest thing to really do while we're doing this on camera. While I'm also doing this, by the way, carefully doing this, you guys can let me know down below in the comments section between Dune Remake and the original Dune, which one do you guys prefer a little bit more? I kind of still there's a charm about the original Dune. I still like the original. I like the remake, but something to be said about the original Dune. Again, I find it a little bit more charming. Now, again, like this one is available over on their site. It's still in stock, and it's $45. Going to contain all, again, the same tracks as the CD, but it's if again, you have yourself a record player, I'm looking forward to actually putting this on my record player shortly after doing this unboxing video. I'm going to put that off to the side. Carefully putting it off to the side. The next thing we're going to also have a look at as well. Now, this is the one that is currently sold out on their site. There may be a chance that they are going to be restocking this, but for the time being, at least, unfortunately, this one is $45, and like I said, it has sold out. It's the Dune original motion picture soundtrack, but this one is a 2 LP release, and it's a San Diego Comic-Con edition. What it's going to have also, not only being the fact it's a limited edition, it's also going to have a slip sleeve. It's going to have like a translucent vinyl plastic that you just slide off. I'm going to put that off to the side here. And again, you've got still, if we could just flip this around to the back, again, you got some nice artwork. All the tracks featured on the back are all still same as the ones we've obviously looked at on the CD. The only thing different is the presentation of this. I mean, in hindsight, probably I should have not opened this one, being that this is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Likely, this one's going to be a little bit more rare. But for me, at least, I'm collecting albums for my own personal collection. Never really collecting with the idea in mind that I'm going to be selling these down the road. And again, we just open this up. This artwork is something you're going to see a lot with the other album that we're going to be pulling out in a second. What I really like about the San Diego Comic-Con, and it's also something that's going to follow as well when we look at the other album, is that they've also printed the vinyl on a different color. So carefully, again, pulling this out. You always really want to be careful when it comes to vinyls. You got, again, side C, Burning Palms, and all the various other tracks. And then on the other side of this one, you've got side D. one thing you'll already notice right away, as opposed to being black vinyl, they've printed this on a very nice kind of pink salmon color. Also, you can see a little bit of like the marbling there to the actual vinyl itself. Very nice presentation on these. Now, again, like I know some people that are collecting albums with the idea in mind that they're going to be selling them down the road. Not me. I'm myself like to collect albums with the idea that I just want to listen to them. I want to be able to put them on, you know, sit down in my office while I'm doing a little bit of work and just listen to an occasional track from time to time. Just kind of pick this up and move this over. And we'll just slide this carefully back in place. I want to just make sure I don't get anything crimped in the process. And then there's also this side, which we'll pull out. The sleeve is still in there, although the sleeve was having a harder time coming out here. There we go. And I did want to show you guys this one. I love the color on this other album here. Now, this is the side A, and we flip this carefully around on the other side. We've got ourselves as well side B. All the same tracks, but again, like printed, the vinyl this time around is sort of more like a purple color. And again, you've got this really nice marbling. And we'll just slide this back in there. And then there's one other album that they were kind enough to send my way, as I just carefully put this back in the sleeve. There we go. Fold up the album. And we'll just put it off to the side here as well. Actually, you know what? Let's see if we can get it back into the sleeve. I had a harder time getting it back into the sleeve, obviously, because I've already opened it once because I couldn't resist. So we'll just slide that back in place. There we go. We'll just put that off to the side. I'll bring back the albums also when we finish looking at the last one. And then speaking of the last one, the last album that they were also kind enough to send over is, now this one here is still available. This one here is the $40 one, and this is the Dune Original Motion Picture 2 LP set. And again, just open this up. Same artwork is going to be inside. And we'll just pull out the albums. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, is it going to be the same color of album? Well, actually, no, it's not. One thing that's really nice about this is, first of all, inside this album is actually some additional sleeves. The sleeves, of course, feature the actors and actresses behind the scenes. And this one I really like also as well. Carefully removing the album. This is sort of more of a coloring of almost sandstorm. And we've got side B on one side, side A on the other side. I think for being connected to Dune, this is kind of one of my favorite colored albums that they've released for this. Just because it kind of reminds me again of the sands. Just slide that back in place. Mondo, by the way, as I'm also opening up the last album here, also have done a Batman score, the Batman specifically. I would love to get my hands on the Batman because I would imagine like the scores for that movie would probably just be amazing to listen to on my turntable. And of course, we got the last insert here. Carefully removing it. It's not quite the same coloring of album. It's almost it seems like it's maybe about the same color, but it looks to me almost like it's a little bit slightly darker. This is again side C. Flip it around on the other side. We got ourselves side D. And I won't simply just like listen through all the tracks. I won't show you guys what the tracks are, just because again, like they're the exact same tracks as the CD and all the other two albums that we've also had a look at. Carefully just putting that back in. Unfortunately, just due obviously to copywriting of playing the songs, I wouldn't be able to play them for you guys. But I'm sure it's something that you probably would be able to search out and sample online. Or if you guys are familiar and have already seen Dune, you probably are familiar with some of the songs anyways. Hopefully sliding that back in place. So of the albums, actually, they were nice enough to send over. Once again, we got ourselves the 2X LP Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. Still available over on their site. It's got to put this one back actually into the album. Still all available over on their site. That one is $40. The only one, again, that they have since sold at the time of doing this video is the Original Motion Picture 2XLP SDCC release. This one was $45. It has sold out. I couldn't even tell you whether they would be restocking these, but it's always really good as well to go back and check their site from time to time. I would imagine the quantity of this one would be quite limited. And one of the reasons why, like it was only 500, by the way, numbered copies pressed. So One of the reasons why this one probably sold out right away. I would imagine if you were a Dune fan, you probably would have jumped right to Mondo's site and ordered this one first before probably ordering the other ones. And of course, we also got, kindly sent over my way, as well, the 3X LP, the music from the soundtrack. This one is $45. I would imagine, like, if you don't get your chance to get your hands on the SDCC release, I would imagine most people are probably going to want to grab this one, just because I really like the artwork on this one, and also as well because it actually has 3 LPs as opposed to 2. And if you aren't one that is listening to albums, but you do have yourself at least access to a CD player, they're also nice enough to send over the Dune Original Motion Picture Soundtrack Deluxe 3 CD edition, which again is still available over on their site. It's for $25. Big thank you once again to the folks over at Mondo that did provide this sample of all the various releases of their new Dune music soundtrack albums and as well the CD. If, again, you guys are interested and would like to get your hands on this, I will provide the link down below in the video description. Also, hey, let me know down below if you guys have had the chance to see the new Dune film, if you thought it was a good movie, and do you still prefer the remakes over the originals, or you still like the originals a little bit more than the remakes? If you guys did enjoy this video, I want to throw it a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and certainly do want to stick around for more, if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Yes, turning on the bell notification can also help as well. But the most helpful thing you can do as well is coming back to this channel on a regular basis. We may be wrapping up things right now for records, something we don't tend to look at too often here on this channel. Probably, maybe we'll look at some more. What do you guys think? Would you like to see more album unboxings here on this channel? There's a lot of cool companies out there that are producing some really neat looking vinyls. That'd be something that you guys would certainly like to see for future videos. Let me know down below. In the meantime, as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.